It's another day in Still River, a town nestled in the foothills of the Berkshires. Still River is one of those New England mill sort of manufacturing towns of the 19th century, which had a local history. And that history kind of dissipated around the beginning of the 60s when the town started getting amalgamated with lots of transient population, and a sense of community kind of disappeared, and it became more like a bedroom community, like a lot of those outside of the city. Uh, but it's summertime in Still River, and they're getting ready for the 4th of July fireworks extravaganza at the town park. And, well, Carl Krasansky, his dog Sparky died about 15 years ago. Kind of a gnarly looking, uh, you know, small sized dog. Uh, a mu- he could have been in any number of 100 breeds. And he had a gnarly look. He had like this snarly lip on his side, one side of his mouth, where his teeth shone. So, like, if you looked at him from one side, he looked like he had a growl, and from the other side, his tongue would stick out a little bit, and it looked like he was smiling. And it's funny that there's outside of across the street from the town park, the Still River. There's a outdoor hot dog burger stand. I don't think it's running anymore, but there's a big stone right in front of it where the road wraps around up the hill to the main road in front of the town park, and it's like a curve. There's a big stone there. It's painted white. Then it's painted like a Dalmatian dog's head, I guess, with black ears. And one side of the face is like a snarl, and the other side is like a dog with tongue hanging out, smiling. So that was kind of interesting. And it's still there. Well, Carl had Sparky stuffed, and he put Sparky on the roof of his car during special occasions. He has this old blue Ford Fairlane station wagon. He drives around like really slow. And there's like paint cans and tools in the back because he does odd jobs, and he is an odd fellow. And he decorates Sparky, dresses Sparky up for different holiday seasons. For 4th of July, Sparky usually is Uncle Sam. I think I saw him as dressed up as Superman one time in a Superman costume. And for Halloween, sometimes Sparky's Dracula or Batman. And during the Christmas, New Year's holiday season, he's usually Santa Claus or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And around the spring, he's usually the Easter Bunny. Um, on Memorial Day, he's usually got a helmet on or something, dressed like a soldier or a sailor with an American flag next to him. And Carl strings these little Christmas lights around the edge of the roof that blink on and off at nighttime, and he has like these little lights that shine up at Sparky to illuminate him at night. And so he lives in this little hamlet sort of north of Still River, more of a country little podunk with one traffic light. And he'll drive into town periodically to get supplies with Sparky on the roof. And, well, also during the summer season, especially during the doldrums, something always happens. Somebody creates some kind of excitement because it gets hot and boring. Usually there was these UFO incidents, which was perpetrated by Bob Raduchowski. He has an ultralight plane, and he's connected with. He works at the Still River Municipal Airport, which is a small plane airport right near the mall at Still River, and he'll connects with his friends, and a couple of times at night, in the evening, they'll fly in formation, and they'll have Christmas lights or lights of different types strung around their planes, and they're very quiet. So at a distance, you see this big lit up triangle in the dark sky, and you could easily visualize a alien mothership or something coming in. And I would get in the newspapers. One night it was coming over, and I ran into the house and got my binoculars and went out and looked, and there I saw all the little ultralights in formation in a big triangle. So that usually happened. That used to happen, 2 or 3 times in the summer. And one fellow got caught in a high power line, so it was an unfortunate incident. His plane went down, and he got caught in power lines, and that ended that activity because the FAA and everybody came around and banned the ultralights from flying around the area. So, in the summertime, summer jobs, usually you had to not lie, but like kind of obfuscate or just not mention it when you were applying in the early days for a job during the summer while I was going to school. And the trick was to let whoever you were interviewing get the feeling you were going to stay on, that you weren't going to school, and that you were going to make a career. And I got a number of jobs that way. And, well, it brings me to coffee. In the early days in Still River, there was A&P down on Main Street, and they had the best smelling coffee in the world. I would love to go down just to stand in the doorway of the A&P as people were coming out, just to smell the coffee. A&P had this coffee called 8 o'clock coffee, and it was, without a doubt, the best smelling coffee in the world. And I knew my friend's mother and another woman used to make it, and it was also one of the strongest, best tasting coffees also. Which brings me to the coffee incident. I had a job in an electrical supply house in Still River during the summer, delivering electrical supplies to contractors. And Saturday mornings, nobody wanted to get up early because we're only open till like 2 o'clock, from 8 to 2 on Saturday. So they gave me the job of opening up. They gave me the key, and I had to get there extra early for one reason only, to make the coffee, because everybody came in either hungover, all the salesmen, or after a Friday night out, the first thing they wanted was the coffee. So I went in, and they had an old big coffee percolator pot. It was a mess. I spent 15 minutes cleaning it out, rinsing it out, everything I could do to get it clean, the filter. They were using the same filter more than one day. And I got it all cleaned up, and I put the coffee in, and I looked over and I saw the water cooler. They had a Crystal Rock water cooler with a big bottle on the top, that got replaced every week or so when it went empty, and there were refills next to it, one or two of these giant big glass bottles. And I decided to use the bottled water instead of the poisonous, polluted Still River City water. And I used it to make the coffee, and the coffee even smelled better. and everybody shuffled in around 8 o'clock, and Ben and his wife, the boss, and his wife, old Ben with a mustache, shuffled in. And he was usually the first one out with his cup to get his coffee and go back in the office, which had this big glass window. It was raised up. You had to go upstairs, so you could view the whole warehouse and the service counter and everything. And he would be in there, and the window was open, and he got his coffee and went up, and about 2 minutes later, you heard this yell, "Whoa!" And he came out, and everybody stopped, because when Ben yells, everybody stops. And he came walking down, and he's there, "Who made the coffee?" And all hands, all fingers pointed at me. And there I am, Ben staring at me with a cup, and I'm like thinking, oh, I'm finished here, I'm out of here. And he comes over and he goes, "Did you make this coffee?" I said, "Yes, I did, Ben." He said, "This is the best damn coffee I've ever had in my life." And from then on, I was saddled with opening up every morning. It was a sad day in September when I handed in my notice. The first questions from everybody was, who's going to make the coffee? And so my brother got the job there, and I told him the secret of the coffee. So if you want to make great tasting coffee, no matter almost what kind of coffee you use, I would suggest 8 o'clock coffee, by the way. Use spring water or bottled water, and make sure the pot's clean, and you'll have the best coffee around. So that's the story from Still River. Another day in Still River.